What's going on, guys? My name is Aldenero and welcome to episode 116 of my FIFA 15 career mode. We're currently with Manchester United. We're playing against Chelsea at Old Trafford at the start of this episode, and as you can see, they're currently 6 points below us in the league, although we have a game in hand over them, so a potential 9-point gap there between us, which is probably the furthest I've ever been ahead of Chelsea. They've always been the team who have continuously and consistently been just challengers to us all the time. Like when we were with Leicester, Chelsea was just the worst team to play against because they were so good, and they've even kind of shown some of that form this season too. I'm pretty sure that they actually beat us in the previous game that we played against them, and then QPR beat us the next week, but I could be misremembering that. But they started off strongly with Remy Cabella's shot being saved in the second minute, but then we came forward 2 minutes later with Andre Schürrle, the former Chelsea player, on the ball as he takes it down the left-hand side of the pitch before cutting inside onto his right foot, and a really good chance for him, but a great block in defence there by, I think it was Boateng in defence. I'm not too sure. I didn't get a chance to see which defender it was, but we come up to the 26th minute of the game, and Wayne Rooney's strike from distance is just unbelievable as it goes into the back of the net. I can't believe it went in, and I don't even know why I tried it. Like, they're playing a 94-year-old Petr Cech in goal, which is one of the reasons why I think I was tempted to do that. But it's such a bizarre thing. Like, the finesse shot hasn't really been effective at all for me in FIFA 15, and just the way that went in was just unbelievable. I don't know, I never actually try finesse shots, and to be honest, I've no idea why I tried it, but I'm glad I did, because that's a type of goal that I don't think I've scored so far in this entire FIFA, which is pretty strange when you think about it. But Chelsea retaliated with a Piazon shot about 9 minutes later, and then we came forward with Hector Villalba on the ball, getting a shot off and seeing it saved by Petr Cech as he dives low to hold on to it. And then 2 minutes later, we came forward again. Wayne Rooney going for the same trick once more with the finesse shot around the goal. Do you guys ever score finesse shots? Like, is that a thing that happens normally? Have I found like maybe a spot in the game where you can just regularly shoot from there and expect to score, or is that a kind of a one-off thing? Like, I don't really know. It feels like a really weird goal to score. But a mental save just past the hour mark from Cech keeps Villalba's shot out, and then we had a chance from the corner in the 84th minute, and another great save from Nick Powell's chance at close range. Then we come up to stoppage time at the end of the second half, at the end of the game indeed, as the ball comes to Dybala. His shot is saved again by Petr Cech, who, apart from missing the finesse shot from Wayne Rooney, had an absolutely sensational game. We do come away with a 1-0 victory though, which is very important, because obviously Chelsea are just one of those teams, and we come up into our next game. This is against Bayern Munich, and we're away from home in Germany, as you can see at the Allianz Arena. Now, I did read a couple of comments in the last episode that said you're not going to play against Bayern Munich. The way that it works, you see the tournament tree here on the screen, you don't come up against the team, you don't necessarily come up against the team that's next to you in the tournament tree. It randomizes it jumbles them about, so you know, you never know who you're going to come up against unless it's obviously the final, and then in that case it's the other team that won the semi-final. But Bayern Munich's team has Kister in midfield, who will be joining us at the start of next season, which is going to be pretty exciting. We're only a few episodes away, really, maybe 3 or 4 episodes away from the end of this season before we move into the summer and sign some new players. Obviously James Rodriguez is going to be one of those, which I'm really excited for, because I had a lot of fun with him in my Monaco career mode, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that will translate into FIFA 15, because he plays in a slightly different position this time around. But I would also like to experiment with the formations a little bit more. But in the 18th minute of this game, Bayern Munich attacked down the left-hand side of the pitch with Alaba winning a throw-in, and he throws it straight to Kister, obviously the player who's joining us. He goes back to Alaba, who does really well to put this ball into Götze, who sees his header go into the side net and behind, but a very good chance for Bayern Munich. They'd get another chance in the 50th minute as the free kick was taken by Müller, swung in towards Schweinsteiger, who got a looping header which managed to beat David De Gea and put the home team into the lead. It wasn't really against the run of play. It was a very, very dull game. The way that Bayern are set up, obviously, is kind of with 5 at the back, essentially, and the way that they go about just holding on to possession is infuriating. Now, I say that about a lot of teams, but not a lot of teams have the kind of stats, technically, that the midfield of Bayern Munich has, and they continue to press throughout the game, just past the hour mark with Schweinsteiger's header going over, and then we come up to the 67th minute as the ball gets played in towards Weihrauch. I don't know if he's a real player or a regen or what, but then we come all the way up to the 89th minute of the game, and we're in kind of all-out attack mode at this point because I wanted an away goal. Villalba does really well to get past the challenge of Dante, and it comes into Dybala, who takes on Jan Kirchhoff and puts it into the back of the net, and there was no celebration because I was holding on to every single button on the controller, kind of praying that this would end up in the back of the net, and thankfully it did, as Dybala's strike goes through the legs of Manuel Neuer in goal and gives us a priceless away goal, which is obviously going to be essential in terms of us getting into the next round. So I'm absolutely delighted with that. We come away with a 1-1 draw, although Bayern Munich are a team that we've played against so many times in the Champions League. Like, I feel like for us to get them every single time we play in the Champions League is that a coincidence or what? Like, does that happen to you with any teams in the Champions League or what? Like, I don't really understand how it all works. But the squad report is on the screen. I just if I talk about the squad report, I'm just gonna say the same things that I always say. I did, however, see a couple people saying to loan the player out and then recall them. That doesn't work with this thing, though. It only works sometimes. Like, it hasn't worked with anybody in this entire series. It hasn't worked with any player at all. Didn't work with Jack Grealish. Like, it didn't work with players like that. So I don't think that's going to solve the problem. I think Daniel Kister is obviously going to come in the summer anyways. I'm going to try and get rid of Ander Herrera and sign another player in his place, because he's worth 16.5 million, which means that we could offload him with the intention of bringing in another player as part of a swap deal. And if you guys actually want to recommend any central midfielders, I'd definitely be interested. I think maybe Kovacic from Inter Milan, he could be pretty good. He looks like he's got some really good stats at this point in the game. Other than that, some glitch players like maybe Abid from Newcastle United, although I did check him up, he's only rated 82, but he looks like an amazing 82 rated. Like, his stats are all, he looks like a very El Dinero type midfielder, I'd say. I'd give him that, you know. But yeah, that's how the squad report looks anyways. There's nothing else to really say. I'm kind of disappointed with Hector Villalba and his lack of goals this season. Like, that's been a little bit disappointing, I suppose, because he hasn't really been at his usual prolific best. But I don't think we'll ever get the form out of him that we got in his first season with us, when he was just absolutely sensational. But we go to our next game. It's against West Bromwich Albion, who, as you can see, are in 19th place, which means that this will be a more difficult game than playing against Chelsea. That's usually how it works in FIFA. Like, you can come up against a team who are first and you'll beat them easily, and then you'll come up against a team who are like bottom of the league and they'll play out of their skin against you, and I don't know why that is. I reckon it must be coded into the game to be like that, but at the same time I'd say there's a lot of things that go on in your head when you play FIFA that you don't fully understand, like just different psychological elements of why you do what you do in games and stuff. But we started with Jeffrey Schlupp at left back in this game because Luke Shaw can't do it all the time, and I think it's only the second time ever that Schlupp has played at left back for one of my teams. He played it against Arsenal at left back when we were with Leicester City, and other than that he's been deployed as a left midfielder or a striker, which is most of the time it is a striker. But we come up to the 37th minute as we're on the counter attack here with Javier Hernandez on the ball, looking for any kind of a run from anybody around him. Thankfully Dybala eventually does get into that position and he scores with his 2-star weak foot, which is pretty handy in the 37th minute. That was our first shot on goal as well. West Brom were just really difficult to break down a lot of the times, and even though both of their chances came through set pieces, they were still really good. But Javier Hernandez puts the ball into the net in the 60th minute, and I really thought that that was actually offside or it was a foul or something, because it seemed like a very strange type of shot for him to hit. But it went in, thankfully. That's another goal. I haven't really scored a goal like that before. But we come up to the 68th minute of the game with West Brom on the attack, and the ball comes to Sayo, who shoots from distance. It goes straight at David De Gea. It's eventually punched away, but it was a good effort, and we came forward immediately after that on a kind of a counter-attack as the ball comes to Gerard Romeo in defence. He plays this amazing ball into Javier Hernandez, but Daniels gets onto it. Hernandez robs the ball from Daniels before going back to Dybala and into Jesse Lingard, who actually started this game, and then Lingard plays it into Javier Hernandez, who finds the back of the net to make it 3-0 in the game, or so I had thought. I was so sure I timed that to perfection, but the linesman got me out, and that happens so often. But a few minutes later West Brom came forward, but Jakob, his shot being punched away by David De Gea was really close though. A really good effort from him. And then in the 85th minute they came forward again, just trying to get anything out of the game. I don't know if you guys saw in the squad report, but David De Gea has played 48 games so far this season, and he's kept 24 clean sheets, which is pretty amazing. Like 50% of his games have been clean sheets. I think that's a pretty good record overall. But a West Brom chance in the 86th minute sees us go into a counter-attack with Pereira on the ball, the Belgian midfielder, who doesn't really get a whole lot of game time for me. I did see somebody comment yesterday saying to give him more game time, so I brought him on off the bench just for that guy, and he takes on Lescott here in defence and does really well, and actually manages to find the back of the net and round off what was an actually decent performance from us. A lot better than I thought it would be, because I don't think that we beat West Brom in the other game against them this season. I'm pretty sure that we actually drew 0-0, but they've always been a team who I've struggled to break down just because of the way that they're set up, I suppose, in the game itself. But yes, some decent games in that episode, and I'm pretty happy with how it went, especially the Champions League game, because I don't know, I want to win the Champions League, but I want to win like a double of some kind. If it's the FA Cup in the league, fair enough. If it's the Champions League in the league, fair enough. But I don't want to, I don't know if this will sound weird, but I don't want to win every single thing and then stay with Man United, because I don't really see the point in doing that. So if we do win the treble, I'm probably just going to look for a better job somewhere else and see what happens. But that's the end of this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please do leave a like on the video. That would be much appreciated. I've been Elden Hero. Thanks for watching.